So this video here is about differentiation in the classroom. Not necessarily for English, but generally speaking, differentiation, which is, of course, an important concept that you need to be engaging in. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first thing I would like to point out here is the teacher is, well, there's multiple teachers, first of all. There are multiple assistants, and there's one head teacher of the classroom, and there is one assistant or one teacher at every table for the classroom to assist each student individually, which is important for gauging the needs of the classroom, the needs of the student.
There's something that's a little more in line with their strengths coming up soon. So really make education fun and approachable and really be the most effective way that I have
So to talk more about this specifically, station rotation is where there is a similar assignment at every single table, but they engage the material in a different way. So earlier we saw a student cutting out words and pasting them in places of a sentence to make it make sense. And later on we're going to see students having a chart given to them and then having words placed in two separate places of the chart and seeing where the overlap between the meaning of the words is. This allows teachers to, again, differentiate. Some students are better auditory learners, some students are better verbally, some are better more kinetically. Either way, students are getting what they need out of a lesson, and they're experiencing different modes of expressing themselves and doing the same work, but in a constructive way.
Innovative practice as a social capitalist. We want our kids to be able to do anything any other kids in the province can do. We use differentiation all across the curriculum here at Highlander, and especially in the first grade. Although the content is the same, having the station really allows me to tailor my lessons to each individual group of learners.
So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. If you watched the original video, she says right here that having different stations allows her to tailor her individual lessons to each individual student without necessarily creating a monstrous amount of work for her. So again, we have the worksheet right here. At another table we had a video lesson plan. At another table we had like a reader rabbit kind of game. At another table they were visually learning instead of cutting out the words and matching them. So, yeah.
So how the differentiation looks in my classroom, we start off with a whole lesson. Let's get our reading glasses on. Get the letter part of our brain activated. This section of our curriculum, we have been looking at non-fiction texts. When we're looking at our book today, we're going to be thinking about where we can get information. And then in the phonics realm, we focus on contractions. We're taking two words.
So she's introducing the lesson to the entire class before they get into the station rotation. This allows students to get a general idea of what they're about to do for the lesson, which not only is important for English in general, it's important for just lesson planning and allowing them to engage the material, because if everyone is not on the same page, they can't do the same quality of work at a station where they would be most successful at.
And what are we sticking them together with? And then we break off into our small groups. So our yellow group is still learning how to do a lot of our literacy things. The green group is doing pretty well but has a few things to work on still. And our blue group is hitting all the first grade standards.
So you can't necessarily do this for a high school class, because high schoolers will pick up on the fact that they are being separated into groups that are, technically categorizing their ability to do specific kinds of work. But there are ways to subtly introduce this to a lesson plan in upper grades. group work. You can have people work together with different members of the classroom instead of being in a specific group. You can have a student who would be in the yellow group who is more vocally challenged regarding work and have him work with the more vocal members of the classroom that may struggle in the kinetic area where the non-vocal student excels. You can mix and match people to do a project to get the most out of everyone, is what I'm saying, because the vocal student might not want to vocally present the project in front of the entire class, but maybe he'll give you a fantastic article or a fantastic final paper, whereas the vocal people will give you an amazing presentation for the entire classroom, but they might give subpar written work, and the group members could work together to give the best of both worlds and see where and what areas they would need to improve in the future.
And least we stress. So our differentiation kind of takes two forms. The first is by student grouping, and the second is by modality of work. We have 20 minutes per station, and there are 3 of the stations. The students will rotate through all 3 stations each day. So our first station for the group is the computer station. Students use a Google form to check in. They'll normally watch a video or carefully observe.
So one thing I'd like to point out here is she says that the students use a Google form and they log into this specific website in order to do this work. Not only does this allow students to do the visual and auditory work by themselves, which improves that social aspect, it gives them a format to keep in mind that in the future they will be doing more online-based work, which we learn in this classroom. Online-based work is a very real and important part of school life these days, and it's something that students need to get familiar with at a young age, so that way it's not something that is completely foreign to them in the future. I didn't know what an email was when I was in high school, and that was in 2011. 2011, I didn't know what an email was. Some people these days would scoff at that or think that is just completely ridiculous. So that is another very important and very real part of differentiation, especially in an ELL classroom.
We watched a video about how they grow seeds. Getting to type in a favorite part and why. After they finish that form, they can check out the book, and then you could do the gift of reading for delivering.
Giving 20 minutes for the students at each station allows them to do their best work and do work that they think is appropriate for the lesson. I think that's also a very important thing to teach them. Do take your time, do your best work, but also do so at a brisk pace. 20 minutes is plenty of time to be able to get what you need out of the activity, but it also sets a limit on when they should be finished with it and when they should have acquired some sort of base understanding of it.
Bring things in a way that